Samantha Markle. She is supposedly on Jeremy Vine's show in England, apologising to her half-sister Megan. I'm looking at her body language, what she says and what she doesn't say, and sort of go into her narcissism, dare I say it.
But you haven't spoken to her for 10 years.
No, and that's not true either. It was 3 years ago, contrary to public
assumption. You dubbed her narcissistic and selfish.
And did anyone see me say those words? Who?
So she's got a smile, and I call that duping delight. So she thinks she's got it over this guy and everybody else. This woman here, Samantha Markle, thinks she's more clever than most people. That's why she continuously goes on interview after interview, and getting paid handsomely, by the way, to go on these interviews. It pays for her to have Meghan Markle as her sister so that she continue to disparage her, so that she can continue to get money for it and act like the victim here.
Who dubbed her narcissistic?
These are your tweets.
No, that was not a tweet. Well, the Princess Pushy,
Duchess of Nonsense.
The Duchess of Nonsense, I did say, but only at a point at which the media madness had gone so far.
And she's playing nice. I call her the smiling knife. So in a way, she's smiling and acting very nice and polite, but behind it all, she's got the knives out.
Because she had been coined the Princess Pushy. Those were not my words. And so when I wrote this book, I thought,
remember, she's got a book coming out, so again, she's in it for the money.
It would be clever, unfortunately it backfired, to show in my book that the content is opposite the title.
Well, look, what I'm driving at here, you have...
It doesn't make sense. Opposite the title. Anyway, she blinked a little bit there. It tells me she's under a little bit of stress.
You've insulted
especially with this question.
Meghan so much, your sister, including blaming her for her father.
So she moves away from the question, what? And it's a critical what?
His death while he's still alive. She would be well advised to pull up the drawbridge on the royal castles, wouldn't she, Samantha? And not see you.
But I wonder how you would feel. Is it more insulting that people respond to feeling disregard and feeling ignored? Or is it best that everyone just continues saying nothing? So I thought, in the beginning, when we spoke publicly, I thought that we were being open-hearted and even favorable, and that fell on deaf ears, and the media turned it into something that it was not.
Having said that, I've seen about quite a few interviews with Samantha Markle here, and she's blaming the media for what comes out of her mouth, which is interesting. So she's offloading, deflecting. You notice that she's also doing a lot of shrugging, and when we shrug, we're shrugging off things. We don't want to deal with certain things.
So when
the media aren't to blame, because it's consistently rude, isn't it? Your public messaging, calling her Cruella de Vil. We've been through it all. Why do it all publicly? That's what I don't understand. I've got a brother. I mean, we're great friends. If I fall out with him, there are lots of ways. I can send him a letter. He may not open it. I can call it. What I'm not going to do is tweet insults at him, because then he won't talk to me. Isn't that how we all work with each other?
What was going on that didn't make sense is that I really started to feel protective over our father.
But why insult her?
Again, she's using the father as the go-to thing. Now, this is a bit of anger. She's actually poking her tongue inside her mouth. It's like, up yours is what she's saying, but she doesn't quite reveal it because she knows not to reveal too much in her body.
I don't understand.
Because he was being purposely ignored.
Sure, but how does it help?
And that was a critical side swipe.
Him to alienate Meghan. I don't understand. Help me understand.
We were hoping that private channels would be used.
They're not being used.
When they failed, we went public.
So they went public. And I think really, as I've said before, that she's in it for the money and the fame. I find that Samantha Markle is very hungry for fame, money, and I guess it's narcissistic supply.
But help me understand. How does it get Meghan closer to your father to insult her? How does that work?
The goal at that point wasn't just getting closer, because it was also about bringing out a very important point that you don't isolate family. You are a humanitarian, and I believed all of those things about her. But
you want to shame her? That's what it is.
No, ignoring family, though, is not the way to
But you want to shame her, don't you?
I wanted to point out that it wasn't a function of family ignoring or disrespecting her.
So she's saying it in a polite way that she is trying to shame her.
That there was a lot going on. Perhaps it was British royal protocol that you say nothing, but the public were making a mockery out of the family, and I felt like it had to stop.
Right.
So perhaps I was frustrated.
There's a real disconnect. So she's saying that the public's making a mockery, the media's making a mockery, but she can't see herself in what she's saying is actually the main problem here.
I was lashing out more.
It's part of narcissism.
The media.
But just on your dad, I don't know what your dad thinks, and I haven't seen very much from him. He might be mortified by seeing this fight between you and Meghan, or rather one-sided fight. Has he actually sprung you up at all and said, can you cut it out?
I speak to him 3 times a day. And
sure. He says, go ahead and insult her.
And she was looking down when she said that. So, I mean, she may be in contact with him a lot, but she's also looking down. So it's not altogether congruent.
We don't look at it as an insult. You know,
Cruella de Vil,
I think
Duchess
there's
of...
I noticed how she said we, so it's like she's in cahoots with her father is in cahoots with her, which could be a little bit unhealthy.
What is it? Duchess of Nonsense?
I'm a bit of a quick wit, but I will say that, you know, I think most people within your families, you get to the point where you speak fondly and politely, but then you get to the point where you say, hey, what's up with this? This was not right. And you get
Not
very
on Twitter,
honest and
Samantha.
serious.
Not on... If you fall out with your family,
And we've got a little bit of duping delight.
you don't do it on Twitter. I don't know why you've done it this way. Now, how are you going to see Meghan in London, given that she doesn't want to see you?
Well, I was hoping that maybe we would have the chance to speak, that she would.
Okay, shoulders lift. I was hoping she doesn't believe that that's going to happen. That's why she did the shoulder lift and she did the head shake. So that's two. Two mannerisms tells me that she never believed that to begin with.
know I was here, but
Again, we've got one shoulder up. That's anger and not sure. Plus, we've got a little bit of anger in her face. We'll go back and have a look at that.
She doesn't want to see you.
well, I was hoping that maybe we would have the chance to speak, that she would know I
Nope.
was here, but
We've got a slight head swipe. That's like a, I hope, but it's also negative. Plus, we've got the one shoulder up, anger.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, it might. She might well be watching.
Contempt. Nope, not going to happen.
You went down to Buckingham Palace yesterday. Okay. Could you signal, or you were just outside? Did you have any way of telling her you were outside?
No, but
She's watching now, let's say, and you can say something to her.
I would just say that there is so much water under the bridge and so much has spun out of control that was never intended to.
Okay, so she's not taking any responsibility for her tweets, for what she says out of her mouth, for how she's come across towards Meghan Markle. I'm not saying that Meghan Markle is perfect at all, but I'm just saying that the person who is the most vocal, which is Samantha Markle, isn't doing herself any favours.
And, I think everybody was hurt not being included or invited to the wedding.
That's understandable because they're family.
But I felt as though
One shoulder, anger.
it could have all been nipped in the bud had everyone been included and we all just agreed to move forward with
She doesn't believe that. Her head's shaking.
positive resolve and the hurt feelings would.
Again, so she's completely blaming Meghan Markle for what's coming out of her mouth, and she's taking zero responsibility for her own role here.
Have snowballed, but believe it or not, it doesn't mean that we love you any less. I just think that families can be this way when
Smiling knife again.
there's confusion and when people are hurt. So moving forward, I apologize. And
Okay, so she may say I'm apologising, but you can't feel from the heart there's a sincere apology.
wish things could be different.
If she agreed to meet you, could she trust that you'd keep it private? So you wouldn't go and do a big interview with CNN
You can't trust her because she tends to be very verbal.
afterwards and say, she said this and I said that, or no. So you would go back into that family thing. And would you then try and get your dad over here, or would you think that Meghan should go over and see him over there?
I'd love for him to come here. And I was feeling at the wedding, though, too. I was hoping they would whisk him, over on a private plane. But I think perhaps they were also concerned with his health.
And she's not sure. Again, we've got the shoulder lifting, looking down a lot, and a little bit of contempt again.
Things had gone differently. I think it would have been better for his health and certainly better for her as well.
So at the end of the day, Samantha Markle has a lot to answer for. She lacks sincerity. She lacks generosity. She, I believe, is a smiling knife. So she says one thing and does another with her voice and her actions. I feel she's manipulative, and I also feel that she's doing this for fame. She doesn't have a closer relationship with Meghan Markle and never has. In fact, they haven't spoken for 3 years according to Samantha Markle, but 10 years according to the press. You don't know what to believe there. And I feel like the father, unfortunately, is buying into this particular sister and what she is feeding him in the ear. It's a shame that this is going on, but it makes papers sell, doesn't it? I hope you enjoyed this body language breakdown of Samantha Markle. This is The Dialogue. Please like, share and subscribe. Cheers.